Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Dustin in for Scott.
And I'm Anne Marie. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, big names are joining Governor Braun's campaign to make Indiana healthy again,
Including Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary.
During the event today, the topic of vaccines came up. So too did the number of measles cases all across the country and here in Indiana. Our 13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker brings us that part of the story.
Well, Secretary Kennedy said families can't rely solely on vaccines to prevent measles because the effectiveness of vaccines wanes over time. He also said it's important for doctors to know how to treat measles. His comments come at a time when the U.S. has seen more measles outbreaks across the country so far this year, with the CDC reporting 712 cases across 25 states. 6 of those cases here in Indiana are in Allen County. According to the CDC, 2 children with measles have died in Texas. Both were unvaccinated. Last year, there were 285 cases of measles in the United States. During his confirmation hearing, Secretary Kennedy came under fire for past comments where he said there needs to be more studies of vaccines to see if there's a link with autism in children. Broad scientific consensus is that there is no connection between the MMR vaccine and autism. Today, Kennedy reiterated plans to study vaccines to see if there's a connection.
We're going to get the data sets from everybody we can. We're going to do data sharing agreements with scientists all over the world, with the best scientists, and we're going to find out what contribution vaccines and everything else, mold, EMF, food, all of these other exposures began in the late 1980s. Which one of those are the culprits? I suspect we're going to see that there's a lot of culprits, but we need to know.
Dozens of people familiar with Secretary Kennedy's questions about vaccines protested outside today's event.
I don't understand what he thinks he's going to find by September that other people have not discovered. Vaccines do not cause autism. Vaccines save lives.
I'm 57 years old, and I don't remember a measles outbreak in America prior to the current one. So from my perspective, and I'm a parent who had his kids vaccinated, vaccines work and are safe.
Kennedy also said that healthy children should not die from measles, and if doctors know how to treat measles, that won't happen. At the Indiana State House, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
All right, so Governor Braun unveiled 9 executive orders today to help, as he put it, make Indiana healthy again.
And these orders would exclude candy and soft drinks from the list of foods that are eligible to be paid for with SNAP benefits. Braun also issued executive orders changing work requirements for SNAP participants, reinstating income and asset verification rules.
The governor also announced a review of, quote, improper payments and other administrative errors to ensure that SNAP meets federal goals. Tonight, we also wanted to take a closer look at the SNAP program in general and to clear up some misconceptions.
Yeah, and we know a lot of you have questions like, what is SNAP? Who's eligible? How does it work? Well, Jenny Runovich joins us live in studio with some answers and also to kind of address what is the biggest misconception about SNAP.
Well, biggest misconception is really that it's a long-term program. It is not. SNAP, which many call food stamps, stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. So it's supplemental and it's only temporary.
SNAP is paid for by the feds, run by the states. It supplements food budgets for people in need.
Food insecurity can touch anyone, and it can touch them at any time because for many Hoosiers, they're one incident away from not having a cushion.
SNAP's been around for decades and does have rules. First, an income limit. Indiana's is lower than most states.
It's by household. In Indiana, the eligibility threshold is 130% of the federal poverty level, with an asset test of $5,000.
For a family of 4, that's an income of $3,380 a month. What can people buy with SNAP benefits? Unprepared food at grocery stores and farmers markets. Also, seeds and starter plants. No prepared foods, no household items like diapers or soap. Advocates say candy and soda that the governor's order bans do not dominate grocery lists. Only 2% of SNAP purchases are sweets.
Folks who use the SNAP program, as best as we know, are eating the same thing that folks who aren't using the SNAP program are eating.
Another misconception, SNAP recipients don't have jobs. There are requirements. People who can work do work and have to.
There's also some misunderstanding on how long people are usually on SNAP. Was like 11 months. pre-pandemic. During the pandemic with the child tax credit, we actually saw rolls go down, and then the numbers have started to increase as the wages aren't quite meeting the expectations for working families.
Advocates hope the additional requirements from bronze orders better serve Hoosiers, give them a springboard to better jobs, and don't restrict access to a program that helps feed families in need.
If we're able to connect more Hoosiers with good paying jobs, that's a great thing. It could be a slippery slope where once we start limiting what people can do, then we run into continue to add limits until the program disappears, and that would be catastrophic for our state as well as our country.
Yeah, advocates saying this is really a key program. So by the numbers, according to FSSA, about 15% of households here in Marion County received SNAP benefits last month in March. That's about 131,000 people. Each of them got about $206 in benefits on average. Plenty more on this on WTHR.com. We kind of took a deep dive there.
Yeah, but $206, you can do a lot for that for your family food-wise.
You can.
Yeah. All right, Jenny, thanks so much.
And you can watch this morning's announcement in its entirety. We've got it on WTHR Plus. It's streaming right now on demand. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Also at the State House today, the governor signed a bill into law providing tax relief to Hoosiers.
That bill received a lot of pushback from educators and some community members across the state. The bill will reduce the amount of property tax revenue that goes toward public school districts and would also require schools to share funding with certain charter schools.
It also cuts hundreds of millions of dollars in property taxes. It also slows the growth of property taxes over the coming years.
Windy, cloudy, cooler, and we still have mainly cloudy skies over central Indiana. Temperatures in the 50s, 53 at Morse Reservoir, 53 Carmel, 52 Greensburg, and 53 in Crawfordsville. Starting to see a few breaks in that cloud deck. Skies will gradually clear over the next several hours. We stay in the low 50s through sunset, drop through the 40s later tonight, eventually into the 30s, and central Indiana is under a frost advisory. Grab the heavy coat tomorrow morning, sunshine tomorrow afternoon, and near 60.
Thanks, Angela. Tonight, police are telling 13 News that all agencies had called off a pursuit that covered 3 counties before a deadly crash occurred on the far east side of Indy.
Our Rich Nye looked into this today. He explains that the chase was started by the Henry County Sheriff himself.
Investigators say this Dodge Durango stopped on its top after hitting one car, then rolling several times, including over the top of another car. The Durango was driving south on Midhofer Road and crashed at Washington Street. 33-year-old DeJuan Hampton was ejected and killed. 3 other people were in the Durango. 1 person is in critical condition. The drivers in the 2 other cars were not seriously injured. Henry County Sheriff John Sproul says he tried to initiate a traffic stop in Newcastle when the Durango took off. The chase went on to I-70. Sproul said in an email that the crash occurred more than 10 minutes after I had terminated the pursuit. State police joined the pursuit before the Durango exited at Post Road.
Pursuits is something that is very heavily analyzed and evaluated, not only after it happens, but actually during the pursuit. There's an analytical process that's happening.
Once the Durango hit the streets of Indianapolis, it appears that police called off the pursuit. Investigators say that no law enforcement agency witnessed the crash. So far, no arrest. In Indianapolis, Rich Nye, 13 News.